Okay, what I have here is a Bravo 1 off a Baja twin application. It's really dirty, but basically when I pulled it off in the fall doing the winterizing and the service, there was no leaking on the ground, but as soon as I pulled it off, a whole bunch of oil come out of the shifter area there. So I know where it's leaking, which is the shift rod going up and down in the back of it. I'll show you that when we get to it, but the fucking thing's a mess. So first thing I'm going to do is get it cleaned up before I start working on it, and we'll go from there. I get the oil drained out of it, what's left of it. Okay, so Mercruiser Bravo 1. Not sure what year this is. It's fairly old. Off of Baja. I got her half-ass cleaned up, ready to go. It's leaking oil at the shift shaft channel. So first thing I got to do is drain the oil out of this thing, what's left of it. Bravo's, the drain screw is behind the propeller, right under here. Okay, so let's get the oil out of this thing. First thing is get this thrust washer off of here. Usually a pry bar will help. And working on drives, short, fat screwdriver. Does wonders. This thing wasn't very tight. Try not to have the drive tilted up at all, because, like, especially if it's on the boat, because the oil's just going to run back in behind the bearing carrier. This one doesn't have any water in it. It was just an internal leak, not anything around any water. So pretty straightforward repair. I haven't worked on a Bravo for quite a while. We're a Volvo dealer, not a Mercruiser dealer, so we do a lot more Volvos and Cobras and stuff like that. But we'll give her a whirl, see what happens. So you grab your gun, 3/8 12-point socket, take the cap off first. Usually come off really easy on these things. Something like that. Watch out for your shim, doesn't fall out. Pull off the bearing race as well, so it doesn't get dirty or anything. This is all going to get cleaned up anyways. Pop off the back cover. Now this is going to have some a bit of pressure on it. We've got one long bolt, two short bolts. So hold her steady. Okay, there's where your pressure is on it. It's this ball. I don't know if you can see that. It's what puts pressure on your shifter, actually. Probably be easier to see if I didn't have all this oil coming out of it. But there's a shaft. It goes from here all the way down. Hold your shift actuator here. This is your shifting here. There's a seal right above my finger, up inside. That seal leaks, it gets into this chamber, which the other end of that chamber is this hole where your shift cable hooks up when you install it on the boat. That is one chamber through to this piece. So that's the seal that's leaking. Obviously we'll put new O-rings and stuff. I'm actually going to disassemble this to do the U-joints on this anyways, so we'll catch you back when we get to that. Well, there's some different versions over the years of Bravos of how this is all set up and how the bolts are, but I'm not going to get into all that. You got an Allen head bolt down here. Yeah, it's supposed to come out easy. here. Oops. Come out of there, for fuck's sakes. Okay. Okay, I found a flat washer. Nothing rocket science to this. Just a piece of threaded rod, a couple of washers. Wrench. Okay, there we go. Here she comes. Think. Jeez, there we go. Fuck. Just wanted to be a little bitch. I took the shifter off to see what I can see. But anyways, there you go. That was all fucked up. Anyways, out comes your shaft. Out comes your fork. So there's a brass bushing in there. The seal we're changing, which I can actually feel, it's totally fucked up, is right under there. You just pop it out with a screwdriver like that. There's your seal. It's hard, fuck. Well, it just fell apart, but hard as a fucking rock. So we're gonna put a new one of those in, but that's gonna be after. So let me, I'm gonna go do the video on this U-joints, and then I'll get back to this one. Okay, I found some parts for this Bravo unit here. I still only have one U-joint, but I found the little seal. This thing goes up in here. That's where it was leaking originally anyways. That was sitting in this open kit. It looks like I've got enough O-rings and stuff here to put this thing back together. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my parts. I'll show you how to install this little seal, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. I got my surfaces all cleaned up. Scotch-Brite surfaced. Ready to go. Got my parts all cleaned up here. Got all my bolts all wire wheeled, nice and shiny. Cleaned up and ready to go. Okay, I'm going to take this little seal out of the bag here. Like I said, this is where it was leaking from. It was leaking oil out of here into this area here. No water got in the drive. So if that was the case, it would have to be flushed out or completely disassembled or whatever. So you'll see you have, I don't know if you can see it, but extruded seal lip where you can see the spring. And you have a flat area. It's a one-way seal which holds oil in. So it's going to go in with the ring up, the flat side down. And to install it is actually really simple. Let me show you. Okay, I always put a little bit of grease anytime I'm doing any kind of seals, especially when you have a steel ring exposed. You don't want it to pop out. I'm going to hold that up in there flat. I'm going to take a bearing race installer, stick it in there like that. I'm going to take a pry bar, Okay, I'm gonna take a screwdriver, whatever works. There, that's better. And I could feel it go in flat. So this surface on here is gonna put it flat. I can test with my finger. It's not quite perfect in there. This camera's kind of in my way a bit. There, perfect. So something like that, you get the idea. And she's in. So that's the repair of the leak that we did. Now I just have to assemble it. It's basically an O-ring. Put it back on, fill it with oil. Now I was going to change the U-joints on this thing too, which I already took off, but I've only got one fucking U-joint, so that's going to have to wait till we can get some in. So let's get back on the assembly of this fucker. Okay, there isn't really any rocket science here. This piece goes here. You want to set it in. I'm going to lube this up with some oil. Fork goes in there like that. Using the same threaded rod that I used to remove this shaft with. And basically, in she goes. Look at that. Something like that. This thing was a bitch coming out of here. So I'm going to clean up the inside of this a little more. Okay, I cleaned this thing up inside a little better. See if she fits this time. What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. Nothing's easy. There. So that fits on there good now. So we'll line up our holes by spinning this thing. A little dab of blue Loctite on here. Snug her up. Same thing here. Just a little dab of blue Loctite on there. Line up your hole. Like I said, some of them have different setups. Some have a bolt there. This one does not. Okay, that's that. I'm going to take my threaded rod out of there now. Okay, I've got my shift linkage hooked back up here. I'm going to put the top wafer bearing in. I like to put some Vaseline on it, just very lightly. Do not put grease, just some Vaseline or some roller bearing assembly lube. I've got a new O-ring in here. I'm going to put some number 2 on there. Make sure your race is here. Measure it, make sure it's the thickness that it says here. This one, in this case, is 94 thou. I put a big glob of grease on this spring here. I think most guys do. Stick it in there like that. And put the O-ring in there. Again, a little bit of number 2 with it. Okay, and here we go. Big glob of grease goes in here. You see my back cover? I got some number 2 all around the O-ring. Got my glob of grease. You got 2 short bolts, 1 long bolt. Long bolt goes in the bottom. Oh, this fucking needs to be... Put this fucking thing in the middle. If you can. Point speed handle. Get one of those fuckers started. Put on one in the bottom in there. Get them started. This fucking guy in here. Get him started. Snug it up. I got a small O-ring I gotta find to put in there. And I believe this is the guy. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put some grease around it. Just grease her up like that. Set it in there like that. Make sure the surface is clean where that O-ring is going to go. Again, I got some number 2 around here. I scotch sprayed this surface. My race is in there. On she goes. Right, look at that. Install your bolts. Nelly. It's going to cause a fucking problem for me or what? This fucker doesn't want to go in. What the fuck? What the fuck? You cocksucker. What the fuck is the matter with you? Is there anything wrong with it? Oh, it's kind of fucked up here. Okay. I gotta go find a bolt. Hang in there. Okay, I found one. It's not fucked up. So hopefully, if this doesn't go in, then now I'll have to run a tap down the top of this. But no, she goes in. Easy peasy, Japanesey. If you run into a bolt that doesn't want to go in all the way, like, don't force the fucking thing. Especially when you're dealing with stainless steel bolts like this. You're just gonna fuck everything right up. Snug my cap. Okay. That's about that. You want to make sure it shifts, obviously. Which it does. So, we're all good. This would be a pressure test it, fill it with oil. We're not going to get into that. I still got to do the U-joints at a later date on this fucking thing. So, That's it for now for this. Next thing we're gonna do, next video, is I got this, just this piece that a customer brought us, a Volvo 280, 290. He just brought this piece, not the drive. Just needs the seal and the U-joints done, so we're gonna do that next. Watch out for that video coming up next. Thank you.